Hey guys, welcome back to the session. This is Kalyani, and today we learn about the scrapping methods. So UiPath basically provides us two type of scrapping method: data scrapping and the screen scrapping. So basically, data scrapping is used for scrap a data which is in the structure format, and the screen scrapping is used to scrap a particular UI element data. So guys, we'll build a workflow so that you will get more clarification about the scrapping methods. So let's start today's video session. So we'll first build a workflow on the data scrapping. So this is my UiPath Studio. Create one process and you can give any name. Data scrapping method demo. So first what we have to do, we have to attach a browser window. So we have to open first browser. So for this I'm using the open browser activity. What I'll do, I'll take first one sequence. Right. Then I'll use the open browser activity. So in this browser, you have to pass the link that we have Amazon. So browser type should be IE, right? Now, what I'll do is maximize window. Okay. So first, we run this one. Yeah. So IE browser is open. So what we have to do? We have to scrap data. I'm typing here laptop, right? I want all laptop names and its cost. So what I'll do is I'll use the type into activity. Right. And here you need to indicate on screen this search window. And you can pass the value like laptop, right? And then you have to click the enter. And here one more thing that you have to do, you just check this box, click before typing and click on the empty field, right? Now once you search this laptop, you will get n number of laptop list, right? You observe that all this data is in the structure format, right? So data scrapping is basically used to scrap this kind of data, structure data. So how? I'll show you. So go to the UiPath Studio and here the data scrapping, extract data. So select a value, next select this value Now to create a structure pattern, here they're asking us select the second element. So click on the next and the second element, right? So here you can give the name of laptop. Then if you want the URL, you can extract the URL also. So I'm giving the name URL, right? So click on the next. So now what you have to do, you have to, uh, want to extract this price as well, right? So once, and the result, if suppose I want only 5 items, right? So I'm extracting only 5 items, and here extract the correlated data. Click on this and extract price as well. So here is also create the pattern, next and the same, right? Now the next thing what we have to do, you can give the name as a cost to this column. Okay, now done. Next, finish. So this is what we are expecting. So click on the finish. Once you finish, there will be window like is data spanning multiple pages. So yes, it's available on the multiple pages. Here you are able to see. So press yes to indicate it. So I am clicking yes and this next button so that it will take the data of the next pages, right? So done. It's automatically create a data scraping activity. So now if you check here, extracted data is automatically saved into the extract data table. This variable is by default created by this data scraping activity. Now the next thing is what we have to do, write a scrap data into a newly created Excel sheet. So here we don't have any Excel sheet, right? So I have to create it. So for that I'm using the Excel application scope to create a new Excel file, and in that file I'm storing all this data, scrap data. So in the Excel application scope, visible not needed, here is an option like create if not exist. So here is a check, and here you can put the name of your Excel file. So I'm putting extracted data file dot xlsx, right? This is our file name, newly, which is newly created. Now we have to write all this extracted data into the Excel sheet. So I'm using the right range activity. So here you just take the right range activity, and here, there is no necessary to add a1. So data table extracted, extract data table. This data table is already created here, right? This one. So I am passing this data table here only. So all this data table information will write into this Excel file, right? So here I'm clicking on the add headers as well. So by default, all headers will be added into the Excel file. So let's see how it's work. I'm closing this one and we'll see how it's work. Save and run file. So bot is running at the back end and done. It extracted data. So we'll check whether it's working correctly or not. So go to the project folder and here you are able to see the extracted data file is created, right? Which I have given the name of this file. So if I open this file and it just created, you are able to see here the date and time. Yes, perfect. It's give us name of laptop, URL and the cost of this particular laptop. And it extracted data till five items that we have to put there, and this sheet is created. So guys, hope you understand the how the data scraping method is useful and how it's used to scrap a data which is in the structure format. So we'll move our the next scrapping method is screen scrapping method, right? Screen scrapping method. So here I'll create one new sequence. So the first thing what we have to do, ask the user to input the city name. So here we have to ask our user to input any city name. So perform this action, I'll use the input dialog activity. So take the input dialog and here you can type city, right? Input label should be enter city, right? Now whatever the city name given by the user, it should be stored in a variable, right? So I'm creating a variable city name, right? Once you click here, this value should be stored in this variable. Now the next thing is open the web browser. So I'm using open browser activity, and here you have to pass the URL which we google.com. So you can type here and now type into the search bar whether in city. So here if I open the Google, so there is a search bar, this one. So we have to type here weather of the particular city which is entered by the user. So what I'll do is I'll use the type into activity and I'll indicate this search bar, right? So here, and you can type here weather of city name should be entered by this user. So I'm passing this value and now you have to click on the enter, right? So suppose if I'm passing here weather of Himachal, so now here I have to scrap this particular UI element, right? So here I'm using the screen scrapping method, that is get full text method. So capture this UI element, I'm using get full text activity, this one. right? And now it should be stored somewhere. So for this, I'm creating one variable that is temp. It's a temperature. So go to the variable panel and increase the scope, right? So now what we have to do, scrap in temperature data that we have scrapped by using the get full text activity. Now we have to display this temperature using message box. So I'm using here message box. And I want to show this temperature. So here I'm writing weather of city name, which is entered by this user, plus is, and then you have to value of this temp variable, and then you have to pass the degree Celsius, right? So right now we'll check how it's work. I'm saving this workflow, I'm closing this google.com, and we'll see whether it's working or not. So run the file. You can enter city name any. If I'll enter Pune, so it's opening to Google, and now we'll check it's work or not. So I'm running this workflow. Let's see. So I'm entering city name Pune. Now it's perfect. It gave us the temperature of Pune, 29 degrees Celsius. So that's it. So hope you guys understand the basic difference between screen scraping methods, data scraping and screen scraping method. So guys, if you have any doubt about this today's session, you can ask me in the comment section. And keep learning, keep sharing. Happy automation.